Now I will go with the loft. To do the loft, I'm thinking of doing something interesting. So let me hide these, disable the preview for all of them, mid click and disable. And I will go back to the curve, the original curve that has this wavy pattern. I will create a new curve. I will move it up like, I don't know, some amount. So I will use move, this command here, create a copy, creates a copy, but it's moved. So it's asking for the geometry. I'm going to plug the curve. And like by default, it has like 10 units, which is 10 millimeters up in the Z direction. But since we have this, our thing here, our vector, our direction, we can link it to the motion. So now we can control like this new copy, like the moved copy, how much height does it have? What I will do is I will create like also a small rotation for this moved copy.
Okay.
So I'm double click, say rotate.
Let's see 3D. Let's see.
Just rotate. That's really has different parameters. So this rotate, you can link the geometry, and for the plane, what happened here is here the plane is like the center of rotation. So basically, or like in default, it's in the 0, 0, 0. The center of rotation, which is right here. So now it's rotating our object like around this center. So we don't need that. So it's creating it like very far away there. To create like the plane, we will need like another component, which is, I will say, area. So this component, what it does, like it's also like a very much used command. When you plug a geometry into this, or surface into this, so I'm gonna plug the moved curve. It calculates the area. So if you want the area of the, like the number, so it gives you like here 7,100 something. And again, it gives you the centroid, like the center of this surface. So I'm gonna use the centroid to my plane. Now the rotated geometry is on top of this previous geometry.
And it doesn't know how much to rotate at this point.
Yeah, still,
right?
it doesn't have an angle. So let's put, I will just write 70. So if I just plug the 70, it's gonna be, I don't know, mixed up, but because usually they use radiant, or what they call, radians. But you can right click and say in degrees. Now you can rotate it with any angle you want. Let me also create a third curve to be moved. So I'm gonna just, from this moved object, I will say Control C, Control V. So then the new one I created, I will plug the output of the previous one. So I will make it like repeat itself. What we have is like this up, like the moved geometry that we have here. We also moved it 70, or like whatever number you have here. We moved it again from here up. Let me hide this one, the one in the middle, the moved one. So I will have that. What I will use is, I will use the first one, and I will use the one in the middle that is rotated, and the last one. To combine these ones and like not to mix with a lot of things, I will double click and use merge. So this one is just like merges data. So because we want to use the first one, the middle one, the last one, so we can combine them together. So first I'm going to take the NURBS curve, be data 1, and I will add the third one from the last move, the one on the top. Now to make sure it works fine, if you highlight the merge, it will show you the 3 curves.
Yeah, those are all highlighted.
So we're all good. So now this merged data, like these 3 curves, if we plug them into the loft, it will create you the loft. And the cool thing is, because you rotated the middle, you can just change the angle, yeah, as much as you want, like this. Double click on this number slider, and from the minimum, you can double click and write -100. So now we can rotate. We can like another addition to the same command here, like to the loft command. We can scale the one on the top to make it a bit smaller. Then you add this one on the top, at the bottom, and we'll have this kind of like vase kind of thing. I will pull this the last one, the one on the top. I will take it place clean or empty, and I will type scale. So it's like this 2 balls. And again, the geometry, we can plug it. And again, because it's like the center is very far away, it created it somewhere far, like here.
Oh.
So again, to take the right center, we will call an area. Now we're working in this top circle. I will plug this area. For the factor of the scale, it comes with a default value of 0.5, like half of what it is. If I put also like 0.5 directly, create a slider between 0 and 1, and I will plug that to the factor. Now, just easy as it is, instead, like, because we use the merged data thing, and this merged data is taking the third curve, taking it from this big curve, we will just plug the scaled one into data 3. And here we go. We can do also like something similar to the one in the middle, the rotated thing. We can make it like a bit bigger if you want, like since we're already on it. I will come to the rotated one, say scale, geometry here, and I will also need an area for the centroid. And for the factor, I can plug 1.5 this time, and let's use this geometry instead of the data 2 here, instead of the previous one. Scale geometry, the new one, I will plug it into data 2 instead of the previous one. Yeah. Oh, you can do, like if you put it really small, you can also create an interesting base. Like everything before the merge, if you select all and like middle click hide, so you don't see all of these like points and stuff. We have like one process here. We can like select these guys and group them. Then these guys are a different process. We group them. So let's see if we can bake this loft from middle bake. Wow, I think it's coming clear. From this menu here, you can see the Arctic shows cool visualization kind of. It gives you like the shadows. And another way to think about how to make this smooth mesh is to like make it mesh and smooth it before we close the openings. So we make it like very, very smooth mesh, like the way that I used before. And then after that, maybe using an order there, like something to close the opening and weld it together. So I think that would work. Like we'll smooth it like very much without affecting these edges or like cracking them or so. After you're converting it to a mesh, where it keeps also like the previous one, the surface, but when you try to select it, says like which one do you want to use, the mesh or the surface? So
Okay.
let's say the mesh. Now, while this mesh is selected, we can go export selected from file.
Yeah.
And we have our STL, and I will say vase